Hey guys, Jason with CV Custom. So, what we're doing today is the carburetor. It's time to actually put it on. If you saw the last video, we put an electric choke on it. Now we're going to take the carburetor and set it on the truck. So, I'm going to show you what we got here. It's kind of a mess of adapters and brackets and stuff. We'll look at what we got, and then we're going to throw it on the truck and start plumbing it. Very excited. So, let me grab the phone and we'll get in here. All right. Okay, so right off the bat, I'll get in here so you can see all the parts. Okay, this is the carburetor. It's a Rochester, and it's the big 2G, which is what this is all about. This is an adapter. It's going to take us from the small 2G. That's what our intake manifold is. You can see the difference. It's not a whole lot of difference, but it's just different enough. It ain't going to bolt up without the adapter. So I'll show you how this goes together. Then over here, we've got all the bolts that put the carburetor on. This is the bracket that I modified to work for the 2G carburetor. The springs we're also going to have to modify because they're too big. They're really for a 4-barrel. And then I couldn't get the factory fuel pump. I like the mechanical lift pumps, but for that old engine, I'm having problems finding it. Doesn't mean I won't find it, but it means I haven't found it yet. So we're going to go ahead and put an electric fuel pump on just so we can run. And anytime I do that, I always put a regulator and a gauge because I like to know what the regulator's regulating it down to. If you don't put a regulator when you do an electric pump on a carbureted system, there's a chance that you can overpower the float, push past the needle valve, flood out the carburetor, and possibly cause a fire and everything else. So it's a good idea to do that no matter what. All right, so that's what we've got. That's what we're going to put on the truck. I'm going to get over to the truck. We'll start with getting our adapter mounted and get the carburetor on so we can plumb it. So I'll see you guys over there. Okay guys, so we're over here at the truck. We've got the surface prepped. We just emery clothed it, got it down. When we redid the intake, freshened it up, we put some paint on it to keep it from rusting. So we just emery clothed that off. Now it's ready for our carburetor adapter, carburetor adapter. So the smaller gasket's going to go in here, and then we'll put on the first piece of the adapter. Now the adapter is a 2-piece system, so we're going to run these screws off. And it was all loose, so we'll just get that done real quick. Okay. So there's our first piece. We're gonna thread this dude on here. Okay. You always want to get everything started before you start tightening things. So I like to do it all by hand like this first. Okay. Nice. Don't want to over tighten it. All right, now it is just a metal to metal seal for the adapter. So we'll just screw this dude back down. Alright, lock this guy down. Okay, so the last step for our adapter is our studs, and I just set them out so we're ready to go. So what we did is took our intake manifold from the small 2G to the large 2G. I'm not a Rochester expert, so I can't tell you exactly what that means, but I think that's just what they call those two carburetors. One's large and one's small. Already got the throttle linkage, so we'll be moving into that part. So let me get the carburetor and we'll go from there. All right, got the carburetor, got the bracket, ready to put it on. I will say I'm sorry about the lighting. I still have no walls on my shop, but I just got here, so give me some time. All right, so I've prepped the carburetor. We've got the hose nipple for the PCV valve. We've plugged all the other vacuum lines that we don't use. I do need to get the right banjo fitting for the fuel, but that's not going to be finished today anyways. So, after going back and forth on some things, I've decided that I'm going to mount it this way. And my throttle cable is going to be coming this way. That's the game plan. So, we've got our gasket on already. The way she's going to set. Then we've got our bracket, which I modified. It's just a regular Mr. Gasket throttle bracket, but I had to flatten it out to get it to fit for this. Looks like I may have to work with it a little bit. There we go. But see, once it's tight, it's not going to be able to move really anywhere, so that's exciting. Then our throttle linkage will come and go just like that. It actually looks like we may need to do something different with our throttle, guys. I don't think we're going to have enough throw on this dude. All the way collapsed. Well, we're going to have to figure it out. Maybe we should cut and extend it. Okay, so it's a new day. Figure out how we're going to do our linkage here. With what's going on in the world right now, I can't really go get very many parts or supplies. I'm in essence stuck where I'm at. If you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say the word because I don't want my video pulled off. So anyways, we're here. What I did was I repurposed an old alternator bracket. It's going to set here. And the throttle all clears. Looks really cool. And then our bracket we had earlier sets here. And then it's also adjustable where the alternator used to go. So, get that set up, then we'll come back to setting our pedal in. Get some fuel to it and give it a drive. Okay, got the linkage done. So, you can see right here, we can slide and adjust it. We've got a return spring, it's all set up. Go ahead and hit it, George. Let go. Like, kind of cycle it. Okay, so throttle's ready. We're gonna get started on the fuel lines and pump and regulator because we're ready to drive. Okay guys, so carburetor's on and all that fun stuff. We were gonna go ahead and plumb the fuel, but we have to remove the bed to get the fuel tank right. So we got a new game plan. We're gonna go ahead and leave it here. We're gonna figure out where we're gonna put the battery. We need a battery for our electric pump anyways. We need the battery just to run the dang thing. So we're going to figure out where that's going to go. I really kind of think we're going to be doing like a red top and putting it under the step. because we put the clutch in the location where the battery's supposed to go. So I got some thinking to do about this thing. But carburetor's done. We'll go from there. We'll get the battery and the fuel lines done at the same time. Then we'll set the radiator and we're good to go. So on the next video, that's kind of where we'll be, but I'm going to do some thinking.